The halls of Europe's royal palaces have always echoed with whispers of love stories, some real, some imagined, and many forever caught between myth and reality. When the subject turns to the heirs of today, the young leaders who will one day sit on their nation's thrones, the whispers grow even louder. Among the most enchanting yet improbable of these tales is the idea of a wedding between Princess Leonor of Spain and Prince Christian of Denmark. It is a dream that stirs the imagination, the heir to the Spanish throne and the heir to the Danish throne, uniting two kingdoms with centuries of history. But like the most haunting fairy tales, it is a story destined to remain just that, a story. Born only months apart in 2005, Leonor and Christian grew up in the parallel worlds of royalty. Leonor, the elder daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, was thrust into the role of future queen from birth. Every step of her childhood has been carefully shaped by the weight of Spain's monarchy, from her education at elite institutions to her recent military training. Her image is that of modern royalty, poised, intelligent, and deeply aware of the responsibility awaiting her. Prince Christian, meanwhile, is the firstborn son of Denmark's then Crown Prince Frederik, now King Frederick X, and Crown Princess Mary. His life has unfolded in Copenhagen, where Danes view their royal family with affection and pride. Christian, tall and approachable, represents a monarchy that has embraced both tradition and modernity. Both heirs, both symbols of continuity. And therein lies the first problem with this imagined union: two heirs cannot easily become one. In centuries past, such a marriage might have been welcomed, even celebrated. Royal families often intermarried to secure alliances, share power, and prevent wars. A Spanish-Danish union would have been hailed as a brilliant diplomatic maneuver, creating bonds between two thrones and securing influence across Europe. But the modern world is not ruled by dynastic marriages. Today's monarchies survive because they adapt to democracy, to nationalism, and to the public's desire for leaders who seem relatable, human, even ordinary in their loves. Where once it would have been expected that Leonor marry a prince, it is now more likely she will marry someone outside of royalty, as her father did when he chose Letizia Ortiz Roque Solano, a journalist, as his queen. The same is true for Christian, whose parents' fairytale romance began at a Sydney bar, far from the marble corridors of European palaces. Imagine, for a moment, the spectacle of such a wedding. Madrid's royal palace filled with Danish and Spanish flags, Copenhagen's Amalienborg Palace echoing with Spanish hymns. A ceremony that would unite two nations, their histories, and their people in one dazzling event. The public would swoon. Headlines would declare it the greatest royal wedding of the century. The world would watch as two young heirs exchanged vows, their crowns waiting for them in separate capitals. And then, the impossible question: where would they live? Spain could not allow its queen to spend half her life in Denmark. Denmark could not accept a king who divided his time between Madrid and Copenhagen. Neither monarchy, bound by tradition and constitution, could share its sovereign. The idea, so romantic in dream, collapses under the weight of reality. What remains, then, is not the fantasy of a marriage but the possibility of something else, something perhaps more enduring. Leonor and Christian are part of a small, rare circle, Europe's future monarchs. Their lives are unlike those of their peers, shaped by protocol, duty, and constant scrutiny. Few can understand the pressures they face, but each can understand the other. In that shared experience lies the potential for friendship, perhaps even a kind of alliance. Like cousins of the past, they may grow into adulthood together, offering each other the support and understanding that only another heir can provide. Such a bond could prove more valuable than any marriage contract, an invisible tie between Madrid and Copenhagen, grounded not in politics but in empathy. Why, then, does the idea of Leonor and Christian's wedding linger in the public imagination? Why do we so easily picture the gowns, the processions, the vows? The answer lies in our enduring fascination with monarchy itself. In a world often defined by politics, economics, and conflict, royal love stories feel like something pure, something beyond the ordinary. They invite us to believe in fairy tales again, even if only for a moment. The thought of two heirs, both young, both admired, falling in love across borders offers the kind of narrative that makes headlines and fuels daydreams. It is not about practicality, it is about possibility. In truth, Leonor's path is clear. She will dedicate herself to Spain. shaping her reign in the image of her father's modern, duty-bound monarchy. She will likely choose a partner who understands her country, her people, and the challenges of being queen. Christian's journey will mirror hers in Denmark. One day, he will stand on the balcony of Amalienborg Palace as King Christian XI, beloved by a people who value their monarchy for its closeness to everyday life. His consort, too, will be chosen for love, not for alliance. Their destinies are separate, yet parallel, two bright stars moving in different skies. So, could there ever be a wedding between Princess Leonor and Prince Christian? Realistically, no. The crowns of Spain and Denmark are not meant to be joined by marriage, not in this century. The constitutional, practical, and personal obstacles are simply too great. And yet, the dream endures. Because sometimes, the stories we know cannot happen are the ones we most enjoy telling. They remind us of what monarchy has always represented. Not just power or tradition, but the possibility of magic in a world that too often feels ordinary. Princess Leonor and Prince Christian will not marry. But as the next generation of Europe's monarchs, they will walk beside one another on history's stage, friends, allies, perhaps even kindred spirits. And perhaps that, in the end, is the fairy tale we deserve.